use a vector program. I know, and I think you know too, that we should be using a vector-based program for making patterns. But if I'm printing, chances are the ink or dye will bleed in the paper and there won't be a seam because it's so minute, it's very hard to see. So let's see what we can do to kind of minimize those seams so that it's good enough. And if you really want to avoid seams altogether, you know, Affinity. All right, starting out, I'm going to open up the Pattern Buddy 2025, and this is a great opportunity to tell you that I've recently updated the Pattern Buddy brushes. So if you've purchased those in the past, all you have to do is follow your link to the download page, and you can download the upgrade there. And now the upgrade also includes a folder with PNG files, which is awesome and is a great way to sort of avoid some of the scaling issues if you're just creating a tile. Okay, so what is it about the raster-based program that's a problem? It's the scaling part. The thing is, if you could avoid scaling in the raster-based program, that'd be awesome. But when it comes to the stamp, I want to be able to place it inside of my canvas. And so I have a canvas big enough that when I stamp it, I have to scale my stamp. Because if I had the canvas too small, I'd cut off my stamp. So we have a little problem there that we have to overcome right off the bench there. So let's go ahead and stamp this. All of these brushes, except for certain ones, are square, but they don't always stamp as square. And this is part of that's kind of problem number 2. So let's go ahead and stamp this and see what we get the first time out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use our Move and Transform tool. We're going to come over here and tap the corner here. And right out of the gate, this is kind of surprising. It's very random, but this one came out as a square. So 2561 or 2561 pixels by 2561 pixels, which is awesome. But now we have to fit to canvas, which is the scaling. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and at this point, it's really hard to tell. It looks like we don't have any seams, but really, really hard to tell. I can't tell at this point. It looks pretty good. This is why I usually stop right here. Like I make a single tile and then I check it in a pattern checker to make sure that I have in fact made a seamless pattern. But this isn't usually where it stops for people. And also, let's go back and clear this. This isn't how it always goes from the get-go either. So let's go ahead and stamp again and see what the size is this time. This time, it's only the second time. This is always random. So sometimes it's like the next one you stamp, sometimes it's the next 5th one that you stamp, whatever. But as you can see, this time it's not square. It's 2561 pixels by 2562 pixels. So what do? Well, if you're just using this as a guide, which is kind of what the intent was, rather than the actual tile for making a geometric pattern, if you want to make those geometric patterns, I recommend using the PNGs. But if you wanted to use this for just a guide, then it's no problem. You just use it for a guide and you create your artwork and you just make sure that it's all nice and square. I have Nearest selected to try to help with the tool's algorithm, so it knows how I would like it to create new pixels when it's changing the size of my object. So these pixels are different colors here, and so as you scale it, this sort of changes. And so we've chosen Nearest Neighbor, and this is actually sort of the best that you could get in this. It's not great if you're looking at this level, right? But when you look at it like this, looks like a pretty good line. So it just depends what the needs are. So what the outcome is that you're searching for. If you're just using it for a guide, you could unlink it and then change either of these two measurements to be what the other one is. So let's go 2561. Oops, I didn't do it fast enough. 2561, there we go. All right, and now you have a square, and that would work for you, and you could go ahead and fit to canvas, and it would work fine as a guide. Okay, let's go back to our original one. Okay, here's the other piece of this. So this is an approach I take. I like to create just a tile and I call it good, so I have a higher chance of, if there is sort of a seam, it's very minute. But the problem is scaling it over and over and over again, you kind of compound the issue. And this is kind of a typical approach. So a lot of times you'll have folks that will create duplicates and, and then they'll move them around. I mean, I even do this when I'm making like edges and stuff like that. So this is not an uncommon approach. So then they'll go about making them a particular size. And oftentimes, this is what I've even done, I'll snap them, I'll take them over and snap them in the center here, and then I know I have my quarter size. But that's really not the best thing to do. You can do this, but you also need to check and see, are they in fact still square, and are they the 1800 by 1800 or whatever the half of the size is. So this is a 3600 by 3600, and I need them to be the 1800 by 1800. This will help. Just making sure that you know what the size is will definitely help in the whole process. But the more you scale, the more likely it is that you're going to be coming in contact with some seams. So at this point, then they turn that back off, go select a layer, and then position them in these different positions, and you make sure that they snap. Well, I've got the snapping selected, so they do. And then, so when I get the golden lines crossing, that's where I know I'm good. And then this last one here. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure, whoops, uh-oh. Okay, just want to make sure that that is actually right on the edge there. Great. Okay, so now this looks really good at this size here. And let's just like really go inside here and see if we can, somewhere around the middle, and see if we've got any seams. I don't even know if I'm around the center anymore. Let's see, somewhere around here. Okay, it looks like we don't, but that's kind of unusual actually. This turned out great, but I get them where there is a little bit of a seam. It's very hard to see, but it's a little teeny bit of a seam, and if that happens, it might be okay, because when you're printing, it might bleed together or something like that. And if you're doing a print on demand, same thing, the dye might bleed in through the material or something like that, but you need to test it to find out for sure. In this case, this worked out great, but it doesn't always, and that's the point. It doesn't always. A lot of times the artwork, it might be spaced in such a way, or it might be just a little bit crosses over the line rather than the whole object. And that is hidden. It hides your seam a little bit if you have one. Especially if they're spacing. Like let's say you have dots and there's spaces, you can actually position the dots so that they don't fall over the line. And when you do that, then unless you have also copied your background, you won't have a seam. It'll work out just fine. So again, it just kind of depends on what your outcome is, what design you're using, and that kind of thing. But like I said, if you're like me and you like using Procreate, then this is a great option. And as long as you know kind of some of the workarounds and kind of what you're expecting, and to expect the right level of what you're going to get, like good enough, and if good enough is in fact good enough for you, then this works great. It's totally great. And this is why I love this tool, because it's so versatile and does so many different things. So for Pattern Buddy, I just released a Pattern Buddy 2, which is for Affinity Designer 2, but also works in the Affinity laptop versions. And it's an asset kit that has SVGs of these familiar guides. So, you'll have this diagonal, and there's a couple other new things in that too. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, a template. So the template has the tile and a preview. And the cool thing about Affinity is, and actually any sort of artboard app like even Adobe Illustrator, you can save the tile artboard. You can also save the pattern preview artboard as a file, like as a PNG or a JPEG or something like that. So it's really cool for making patterns, especially if you intend to sell them. What else can I tell you? Oh, yes, and one more thing. There's a font tool, and I can't think of the name of it, but I'm also going to be sharing how to make your own fonts. This tool is awesome. I've been looking for an easy and really a reasonable font tool. This one might even be free. I have to go double check. I can't remember. I just went crazy and went for it, but then forgot all the information. But I will be creating some tutorials about that too. And that brings me back to thank you. I want to say thank you for supporting me on this channel by watching. We're getting really close to 10,000, which is that silver plaque, which I can't even believe, which I'm so crazy happy for, and wanted to thank you for that. I also wanted to thank you, and the subscribers. It's crazy, it's so cool, I love it. But I thank you for watching and also for supporting me through your purchases of my products. If you've purchased Pattern Buddy in the past, I'm super grateful for that. And the watercolors and other tools too that I've sold in the past. So just really wanted to say thank you very much for doing that, for all of your support. I really appreciate it. And also thanks for your comments. Like, that's what actually inspired this video today, was a comment about the seams. It's like, yep, I know what you're talking about. So continue giving me those comments. And if you have any videos that you'd really like to see that have to do with Affinity or with font making, let me know, because I'll see if I can work those in somehow with the other tutorials I'm planning on making. Meanwhile, I hope your day's amazing. Take care, everybody.